Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper. I'm here today to talk to you about procrastination. It's not a big secret those with ADHD struggle to do things that are boring. It just kind of goes along with the territory. One of the things that I've learned is it's even more difficult if it's boring. There's a lot of friction. Friction is a lot of steps that need to be done in order to get something accomplished. I use the word friction, so let's define it so we understand what I'm talking about. Personally, I have a dish dryer. You might have a dishwasher, but I have a dish dryer. I grew up when dishwashers started coming out back in the 70s. Quite frankly, they weren't very good. I learned just to kind of get all the food off of the plate before you put it into the dishwasher. Sometimes I'm not real sure I understood why we put them in there, but anyway, I'm kind of in the habit right now, so I put my dishes, after I've more or less cleaned them, in the dishwasher. The great thing about it is when they're done, they come out dry and I put them in the cupboards. You see, now this is really important because, like I said, I've kind of cleaned them, but I use the dishwasher all the time. Why? Because they dry them. To dry the dishes is too many steps, so much so is that I won't do the dishes because it's a boring task and there's lots of repetition in the drying part, and frankly, I just won't do it. So as a result, I have a dish dryer to reduce the amount of friction on that boring task in order for me to accomplish the goal, and that is keep the dishes out of the sink. Another example of friction is for those with ADHD, taking your clothes and folding a shirt, opening a drawer, putting the shirt into the overstuffed drawer and closing the drawer. There's lots of steps associated with that. So many steps that they often just won't do it. Another alternative is to put maybe a shirt on a hanger. You have to get the shirt, and often you have to turn it right side out or inside out, whatever it is, because it's usually upside down when you cleaned it, and then put it on the hanger. Less steps than putting a shirt folded in a drawer, but still a lot of steps. Another way of doing it is just have a basket of shirts that you just toss in the basket without a top. Hardly any steps associated with that. As you can see, putting your clothes away, your laundry, is actually a boring task. But in those three situations, one being the drawer, next being the hanger, and lastly just being a basket, you can see the amount of steps that are needed to execute that task are drastically reduced. Now, certainly the baskets, you'll have wrinkled clothes, but people with ADHD only do things at point of performance. So as I coached one college kid one time is, what if I've got to iron a shirt because I'm going to go on a date? I said, that's easy. If you're motivated, when it's time to go, you'll iron the shirt and go on the date, thereby reducing the need for ironing all the shirts that you don't care about. So you're only going to iron the shirt that you need. It's very practical when you think about it. My point really is understanding what friction is. It's often if we take a look at the things that we've got and say, listen, this is a boring task, and you look at the number of steps, a task can be made a lot easier if you reduce the friction. Let's take another practical approach. Let's say paying bills is difficult for you. Often I find the best thing to do is when you get the mail is to open all the mail and get rid of all the stuff that you don't need, so you have a pile of the bills. So that when you have to go through the mail looking for bills and all that stuff, you don't have to go through that all at one time. But if you've got a stack of bills next to the computer, and by the way, getting bills in the mail sometimes is a lot easier than getting them by email because there's less steps. If you get a bill by email, you got to go to the website, you got to find your username, your password, you got to log in, you got to go search for the bill, you got to go find, it's a mess. So anyway, just a simple stack of bills where you go online to your bank and pay them right for there is a really simple way of doing it. So the tip today, or the thing that I'd like you to focus on, is anything that's on your procrastination list. If you say stop, why is it on my list? Is it boring? Yes. Start to take a look at how you can reduce the number of steps or the amount of friction that it takes in order for you to execute it. I think you'll find if you use that mindset to problem solve, you might be surprised at how much more successful you are. Please subscribe to our channel. Oops, always get this wrong, by putting the subscribe button there. And comment. I'm really interested in what your thoughts are on this video. Does it make sense? Does it work for you? Got any other clever ideas or any other thoughts on other videos that we should do? With that, we hope you enjoyed this insight, and we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.